shall we study Bible together? And as we are continuing to study the Jesus ministry in a chronological order, today we're going to study about something we call the Olivet Discourse, which means now he is a few days before his crucifixion, and he went up in the Mount of Olives with his disciple, and he's revealing what will be the end of the world, and especially that he is explaining to his disciple how the disciples and the believers, how they should wait for his return. And Jesus gave us a parable, what kind of attitude that we should have as a believer, how we should wait Jesus. And he gave us a parable last week. He gave us a parable of the 10 bridesmaids. There will be 5 wise virgins and another 5 unwise, foolish ones. And he gave us that parable last week. Now today, he's continued to give us another parable today. And we're going to continue to study the book of Matthew, start from chapter 25, verse 14. So if you have Bible, please open your Bible, Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. Shall we read together? For it is like a man going on a journey, who summoned his slaves and entrusted his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. Now, this is a parable that Jesus gave, and people in this parable is there's 2 people, 2 kind of people. One is a master, and the master is now just going to a journey pretty soon, and then he gave money, his wealth, to the 3 servants that he has. Now, of course, this is the parable, so you have to kind of estimate what he's meant. Probably this master that he's talking about, maybe that's he himself, because now we're talking about his return. He's explaining this to his disciple when the disciple asked Jesus what would be like in the end of the world, and he clearly indicated that he will return, and that's where he explained to them how they should wait, and he gave us this parable. So this master that he's talking about here, it must be him, and he's leaving them, and he will be back. So until then, how they should wait. Now, and then the slave here or servant, it must be disciple themselves, and also all other Christians, I believe, because these are people waiting for the master's return, and they're expecting master to come back. So it's a parable that we learned last week with the 10 bridesmaids. It's a very similar setting. There will be, this case, 3 slaves. They're waiting for master's return. Now, this parable indicates that master gave that 3 servants in a different amount of his capital, his wealth, and then he gave according to their ability. So that he gave one servant to the 5 talents, and others 2 talents, and others only 1. And that's based on the master's, how I say, the judgment, the evaluations, based on their, the 5 talents person has a worse knowledge and ability to receive the 5 talents. So he gave that. He entrusted the 5 talents to the more, and the middle, and then the less person, the person with the 1 talent, he still trusted that person, but it's not much as compared to the other 2. So that is, I think, situation. And then also, now we have to understand what is the talent means. Now, the word talent, we quite often use in the English language, which means somebody have a talent means somebody have an ability, and originally the talent is the measure of the weight, and somewhere around like 100+ pound or something. It's a very big weight, and that is they actually measure the amount of coin, the silver coins. So it's a 1 talent, which is humongous weight, something like a 35 kilogram. And the amount of talents, 35 kilogram is something like weight of a child, maybe 10, 15 years old kid's weight, and that amount of silver. And so it's a huge amount. And we kind of know what is the current value would be. The 1 talent was equivalent of about 6,000 denarius. And the 1 denarius back then was about 1 day's normal wage for the worker. So if we translate that to the modern day, of course, every day the wage changes. But then let's assume, to make things a little bit easier to calculate, let's assume that 1 day's wage will be $100. The 6,000 denarius is like how much that would be? Like almost like a quarter. Oh no, $500,000, something like that. $500,000. That's a lot. Just only one talent is about $500,000 US dollars, and or if you have $500,000, and then but so the person with the 5 talents, he received like a 2.5 million or almost $3 million. That's a lot of money. If somebody gave you $3 million, how you gonna spend? And so even the 2 talent person, like 1 million or 1.5 million or whatever that is, it's a humongous amount. 1 talent, it's about $500,000. So it's not a small amount. So this master, according to this parable, that gave quite bits of money to each servant. Now, this is probably indication that God gave us enough talent to each one of us, and He, as a fact, He gave every one of us at least 1 talent and more, and then which means He expects from us that a lot's work, lots of return, so to speak. So that is the situation, and let's see what happens after this. The stuff from verse 16. The one who had received 5 talents went off right away and put his money to work and gained 5 more. In the same way, the one who had 2 gained 2 more. But the one who had received 1 talent went out and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money in it. Now the 3 servants, they basically responded a little bit different, and then the first 2 responded the same. They gained more, and the first one, the guy received the 5 talent. He went up right away, according to the Bible. He didn't waste the time at all. He's probably the kind of person do not waste time, because time is very much fair things, because no matter how much talent you have, the time is the same for everyone's. Either talented person or not so talented person, doesn't matter. The time is the same. So the 5 talent person, he didn't waste time. As soon as he received, immediately, right away, he went out and then make 5 more. He started to work and make it 5 more. And now that a person with a 2 talent, the Bible didn't say he went out right away, but he eventually made 2 talents. So the first 2 had they made more, and that's why I think the master gave. He already know the 5 talents guy is capable, so he gave more, and then not so capable. But the person with the 2 talents amount, he gave 2 talents because he also will do it, but maybe not the timely manner, but he will do it. So that the first 2 actually gain more. The question is the last guy. The last guy, somehow he hid master's money. He only had 1 talent, and somehow he hid the money. The questions, of course, why does he do that? Why he hid the money? What do you think? Now let's continue to read and see what happened after this. And this parable start from verse 19. After a long time, the master of those slaves came and settled his account with them. The one who had received the 5 talents came and brought 5 more, saying, Sir, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more. His master answered, Well done, good and faithful slave. You have been faithful in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Now, here comes the master came back. But the interesting thing is verse 19 indicate that master didn't come back for it quickly. It took him long time before he returned. Do you know the parable we learned last week about the 10 brides parable was also the bridegroom. He didn't come back right away, and then that's why the 5 of them they run out the oil and stuff. That was the parable we learned last week. But then apparently this parable also teaches us the master not gonna come back right away. It takes a long time. Now, at least the people who are waiting for him feel that way. Feel the master is not coming back right away, and it took them a long time. As far as I know, the time Jesus went up in heaven, it was 2,000 years ago, and as far as I know, he had not back here yet. For 2,000 years, it's a very, very long time for most of us, I think. But eventually, he will come back. And we know for sure, according to the Bible, that eventually, every one of us, we have to sit in front of the Jesus, and he's going to settle the account with us. Every one of us will be audited by God. And we might feel that he won't come back right away, or his return, we don't know when exact, but seems not happening. That's how we feel. But he eventually, for sure, will evaluate each one of us. And the time he's going to evaluate, he's going to ask what we did and what we didn't do, and based on the talent we gave to us. But the interesting thing is he simply tell the person who is the 5 talent, he gained 5 more. He just told them that you did good job, and you are a very faithful servant. He didn't say you made 5, that's why you did good job. He didn't really specify the amount. He just simply said you're a very good slave, and you have been faithful for little things, even though he had like almost $3 million worth of talents. But you are very faithful to little things, and then please share the joy of the master. Master is obviously very much happy. So please enter the joy of your master, which means that now master is very happy. So why don't you enjoy with the master? Let's see what happened after this. Now continue along the verse 22. The one with the 2 talents also came and said, Sir, you entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I have gained 2 more. His master answered, Well done, good and faithful slave. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. What's surprising is the person with the 5 talents and the person who gained the 2 talents. This master told them exactly same respond. Good job. You are faithful slave. Obviously, 5 talent person gained more than 2, but the amount is not really mentioned here. And now we humans, when we evaluate person, we often evaluate based on the amount of the person's result, and we even put like a ranking, like even a company who made more sales this year than others and stuff. But seems like that's not the God's economy. I think that God really counts how faithful we are. I think this is the same as the amount of offering we gave to Him, because Jesus the widow who gave the 2 lepta coins impressed Jesus more than any other people who gave more. I think, frankly speaking, God created this universe, so God does not need our money per se. I mean, He made everything. He owned everything. So, but He counts our heart. He seems looking at our heart, how faithful we are. In this case, that He actually looking that our attitude towards to His grace, and especially how faithful we are. So His point was, He's so happy saying, you are a good slave because you are faithful, and especially the faithful little things. Now, the talent God gave to each one is not that little. Actually, it's a lot. But we think what we have is not much. We think it's little. So it's not the really amount issue. We have to be faithful with what we got. And obviously, that's what the God expect. Quite often, we sometimes envy at others. Like sometimes we say, "Oh, how come he's tall and handsome?" Or "How come she's very beautiful and she can sing well, she can dance well?" Or "How come this guy is very talented, he can make lots of money? How come that guy is so smart, he can be he can have such a wonderful job," and so on. So. Now, do you remember the 10 Commandments? One of the 10 Commandments said, "Don't be envy at others," or don't covet. I mean, you don't want to. Basically, what that meant is it doesn't matter how much people got, because more person received talent and ability. The God expect more from that person, so that person will be checked more severely. The issues are how much talent you have. The issue is how faithful you are. It's not the issue is you have a talent or how much talent you have, but issue of how you're using your talent or not, and faithfully. So that seems like this person with the 5 talents and person with the 2 talents, they both being called exactly same. The master called them exactly same response. Both of them must have said, "You're a very faithful, good servant," and you have been. And they will give. God said, He will give you more, and also they are going to enjoy together with me. As Jesus come back, His returned, we know that the real Christian will go up in heaven with Him, and we call rapture. And the time will be raptured. The time He come back, the Bible also revealed to us that we're going to participate the banquet of the Lamb. And at the banquet, that there is a celebration, the time of celebration, and then probably each one of Christian will be audited and settle the account with Jesus. And He will. The good thing is our sin will be not be questioned, because our sin are forgiven already, and that is a great part. However, that He will basically ask questions about how faithful we were with our talents, and what kind of good servant we are. I wish God will call me, "Kenji, you have been a good servant." Now, and then some people apparently received a crown of some kind, and some people be rewarded there. Some people be felt very shameful, but being saved, yes. But some people be questions that Jesus said, "Hey, I gave you this and that, but why did you use?" So that seems going to happen. But either way, that the first 2 slaves, they are very happy, and they did a good job, and the master is very happy with them. Now let's continue to read what happened to the last guy, the guy who only had the 1 talent. Of course, question is that why he hid the master's money. And let's read the verse 24. Then the one who had received the 1 talent came and said, Sir, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you did not sow, and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours. Now, now we find out what was the clear reason. The last guy, why he hid the master's money. He said, Master, I hid your money because you're a terrible guy. That's what exactly he said. He said, I knew you're a hard man. I knew. Hey, Master, I know about you a lot, and you are very severe. You're very hard person. You're not kind at all. You're the kind of persons. Hey, Master, you take from the somewhere that you didn't sow yourself, or you even asked to be harvested something that we don't have. You're actually a terrible God. Basically, that's what this guy saying. You're a terrible master. Some people. Basically, some people are very upset about God. Some people, whatever happens in the past, some people had a very, very negative impression about God, and they upset about God, or they just don't trust God, and they think that for them, God is a very mean, evil God, not giving them all the blessing. They don't count the blessing at all. Those people have a very negative view of God, and those people just don't really. They think that God is a terrible, according to this parable. And then this man actually hid the money. Now, the time of Jesus, that's where people hid the money in the ground. Now, if somebody gave you $500,000 in cash, what you gonna do? In a modern day, we go to the bank, and then we're gonna deposit the money in the bank, don't we? But back then, they didn't have the bank like we do. Now normally modern day, we think the bank, that's where we have the metal safe there, and then you just deposit your money into the big thick metal safe. But not at the time of Jesus. For many years, probably only up to like 100, 200 years ago, most of the people hid their money under the ground, under their house and stuff, and they put in a little the jar, the picture of the jar, and they put the coins in there, and then they hid the money because that's a safe place. And this last guy, he was afraid that somebody will steal the money. So that he hid, and he was afraid of this master. So he was very much concerned that if he lose any penny of that master's money, this master will score at him, and then he'll get in trouble. So after the master came back, the $500,000, this man said, "Hey, master, I didn't lose any. Here, I hid your money. And here, I gave you back exactly what you gave me. And the $500,000, I will give it back. This is yours." And that's exactly how this man did. Now, what do you think? Obviously, this guy had a totally different attitude from other two. And, for him, the talent that God gave wasn't that happy issue at all. The first two, the guy with the 5 and 2, for them the talents God gave was a chance, and the person gained more. And actually, the first two gained more money for the master. Do you remember, we Christian, we should live our life for God's glory. And so first two gain more, but the last guys, instead of a chance, the talent God gave to him was a burden, and it was a burden for him. and so that he didn't enjoy it. He actually afraid of losing it, and so he hid the talent that God gave, and basically he didn't gain any. Basically he didn't do anything, and he didn't trust. He didn't believe in this master at all. He had a very, very bad impression about master. Now, yes, indeed, Bible indicate we should fear God. We shouldn't fear man, but we should fear God. But then when Bible says we should fear God, that means that we should fear Him as our parents. We should respect our God. And that's where the Bible said the relationship us and God should be like we're a little kid and God is Father. That's He asked us to call Him Father. And when you are a little kid, well, for my case, I was so happy to be with my parents, and I trusted my dad, and especially when my dad driving a car, I was happy to ride in the back seat of the car, and then I feel really comfortable sitting. And then, but then if I go to the place like a Disneyland, the amusement park, if I lost my parents, I feel really insecure. That kind of fear, respect. That the Bible, we should fear God means we should respect our God as our parents. But then this guy's fear is a different fear. He said he was afraid of God because he don't love God. And he don't trust God. He don't believe in God. God is a quiet, this master, and the relationship with the master and this servant is, there's no fellowship between them. It is more like an enemy, so basically, this guy didn't trust God, and he hid master's money. And so the question is, this guy said to the master, I know you very well, and you are harsh guys. You are very, hard man. But what do you think? Which ones knew more about this master? The first two? I think the first two knew about God or master more than these last guys. But last guy think he knows about God well, and then God is the evil ones for them. Now, for him, let's read and continue verse 26. What happened after this? But his master answered, evil and lazy slave, so you knew that I harvest where I didn't sow and gather where I didn't scatter? Then you should have deposited my money with the bankers, and on my return, I would have received my money back with interest. Here's a very interesting response that this master gave to the third guy. Actually, he didn't really pointed out that this third guy how he hid the money and stuff. Basically, what he pointed out was this master used the same logic that this man has, and the master said, "So you knew that I'm the harsh guy, or I'm a hard man. You knew that, huh? And if that's so, why did you put the money into the bank?" Now, the word bank is not kind of bank we may think in the modern days bank. I think that the word bank here in Greek is trapestais. I think that trapestais, and that is the word means table in Greek words. So basically, what that is, a money changer or exchanger. See, the money changer in the Jesus time, they put a table and they put a desk, and that's where they did the money change. So this word bank, translated as a bank, it means probably is a money changer. And in the Jesus time, lots of people already had the different country had different coins, and especially where they are in the land of Israel, Palestinians. That was really the key transportation locations between the humongous empire called Egypt and with a humongous economy there, and then the rest of Europe and the Turkey and Asia Minor, so that the Palestine is where lots of foreigner travel goes through between that land. So every one of them, like some Egyptians and Phoenicians and the Hittites and Asians and the Romans and the Greek, they have different coins, and even nowadays, if you go to overseas, you have to exchange your money with the local currency, and then every time that happens, you will see their sign say buy and sell sign, and always buy and sell signs have a big difference. The reason for the difference between buy and sell value is the amount of hundred church or like interest being received by money changer. And so basically what this parable indicate that if you cannot do or if you cannot make money, why don't you let somebody else make money, or somebody else with a talent make money for us? And then I think that this master, this is probably almost like this, that if you cannot do much, why did you invest your money to like missionaries, or like gave that to money to church, so that the person who are like ministers, they can do the ministry work. As you gave money to missionary or ministers or other people, or even to the poor people, you actually participating their ministry. Like a mission. Maybe you don't have a time and talent to go to the overseas and do the evangelism, but maybe missionary can. So you support it. I think that's basically it. I think. Do you remember that God is not looking at the amount? For Him, is He does not need our money, or let alone how great job we did. I think He's really interesting about our heart and how we gonna accumulate the treasure in heaven. And to accumulate the treasure in heaven, the Bible clearly indicates that we should give our money to poor, and we invest our money into the like ministers and so on. And so put your money into the bank probably means that if you cannot make money, you could have let some person with a talented person to make money for you, and you can get at least the interest. You can be participating in the ministry. I think that's what it is. But nevertheless, this guy didn't do that. And then let's continue to read this in verse 28. Therefore, take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. For the one who has will be given more, and he will have more than enough. But the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. And throw that worthless slave into outer darkness, where there will be a weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now this is amazing. The last guy who did not trust master, who did not believe in him, or don't have a relationship with the master, eventually the only one talent was actually given to who? Guy with the 10 talents. The guy with the 10 talents, he has a lot. He doesn't probably need more, but then the master said, give that to him. And because this guy with the 10 talents, he will do more. Now, obviously, this is a story about the Jesus' return is in the mind, and this is the parable based on that. The God gave us so much grace, the talent based on His grace. We don't deserve what we have. Our family, our house, your spouse, your car, your money, your health, and your children's, your job. All that is God gave to us, and that's a grace of God. He's so merciful. We have lots of things we receive from God. And then the first two, they were faithful servant, and they used all that God gave to them, and to use for God's glory, for God's profit. And then their life changed completely. But the last guys, he didn't trust the master. He didn't trust God, and he actually wasted all the wealth, and he didn't know what to do with God gave to him. He just simply complained. He was afraid. He just didn't know what the purpose of his life. And then he wasted, and then he was actually not able to enter the kingdom of God. What do you think? Questions, of course, come back to us. How about you? Which one are you now? Shall we pray? Father in heaven, thank you for teaching you your word today. And Jesus gave us a parable about the talents. And hopefully, the day we meet you, that you will call us that we were very good, faithful servant, Lord. So please make us that way and help us that way. And please let us live our life here for your glory. Jesus, we pray. Amen. Okay, take care. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.